Shut up and sit down.
The hype for BlizzCon 2018 has begun, and so has our planning for this year's Con Before the Storm.
Con Before the Storm will bring together fans and content creators for all of Blizzard franchises once again in Anaheim Hilton on November 1st.
This is the largest Blizzard community-built event, and it's made possible thanks to everyone who supports our Kickstarter campaign, which is now live at ConBeforeTheStorm.com.
Our initial funding goal is $13,500, and we're confident we can hit that goal with the community's help.
As always, we plan to include meet-and-greet opportunities with dozens of content creators, including artists, podcasters, Twitch streamers, esports personalities, and much more.
Returning fan favorites that are already confirmed for this year include badge artist
Oh my god, I know, you're so
as well as the return of shirt and button designer Nadia Lee.
Finally, it wouldn't be Con Before the Storm without World of Podcasts, which will be celebrating its 6th-year anniversary.
However, our plans for World of Podcasts have grown, as have the costs to make it a reality, and we need your help to bring World of Podcasts back its best year yet.
Get ready for a great night of podcasting content should we hit our stretch goal of $24,500.
To learn more about our plans, stretch goals, and backer rewards, go to ConBeforeTheStorm.com and follow at ConBeforeStorm on Twitter for ongoing updates. See you at BlizzCon.
So not only do they go out of their way to try to guest feature a CTR raid team, but I think we've got a little bit more recognition than some other times around because we're on our mythic kill streak of 1. Which is actually better than most of the raid groups are doing. So,
yeah, just a few more weeks. We'll actually get just a few more weeks of killing that one boss. We'll start getting those mythic caches, which will help get the second boss.
The second boss down. I'll have to go find a mythic cache. What's the other things that happened this week?
I do have something I want to say to you about Converted, but go ahead.
Well, I felt bad because they got started late because of technical difficulties. They started streaming with Discord. They switched to Skype. Then they got back to Discord and fixed it. So even though they had told me they'd get me out in time for raid, I bailed on them 15 minutes less than they thought. So after the fact, they're like, "Oh man, we wish we could have talked to Gav more. We feel so bad that we, botched 25% of his time with us." I'm like, don't worry about it, you guys. You're great.
Yeah, just bring him back. We won't mind if he misses a raid night. I promise.
Yeah, and then I sent them selfie shots of my character with the selfie cam from Antorus Mythic.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of, and then I just had a visitor earlier today. I don't know if you managed to squeeze that into the show notes somewhere. You didn't. Okay. Well, I will do that in shoutouts. I think. How's that?
That works.
All right. Yeah. How was your week?
Well, before we get into my week has been like.
All right.
About the Converted. They asked you for a funny story in raid. And
Did they?
Yeah. And you just went, can I just name off people instead? Which I'm fine with, even though you cheated.
I didn't mean to cheat.
Yeah. You brought up the list.
Yeah, I brought up the list.
Yeah, that's fine, whatever. But you didn't give them the funny story of the expansion for our raid team, which was me breaking the Ellison fight. That would have been a funny story.
I was going to say, I got the funny story on Wednesday, didn't I? Where Theory gripped all of the Norgannon walkers on top of me in a fit of rage.
Frustration. We'll say it's frustration, not rage.
Well, and the irony is that I don't think I was the source of his frustration, but because I jokingly told him to just pull the walkers right on top of me, give him some catharsis, he absolutely targeted me and managed to get 6 of them. 7 of them? That's a good pull. I posted that one. That's in my clips.
Yeah, that was amusing, despite the fact that it would have been better if it was the last pull of the night. Because then I could have beat him after that. Well, yeah, but if that would have been the last pull of the night, I could have just bubble hearthed out and not taken the extra repair bill. Not taken. Sorry, Tooken. Yeah, but it was amusing, but. Yeah. It was amusing. It was, it was something that was needed to diffuse the group that night. Because
that's true.
There were issues and disagreements and got heated, and no one quit the team, so that's always a plus.
There was definitely a giant Meccano Strider fight there going on.
Dude, I didn't see the Meccano Strider fight. That would be weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so my week has been kind of whatever. Dropped into Overwatch a bit. I got to play with Jules and Marconin on their game night.
Cool.
Since that happened for a bit. And then I got to switch over for Raid on Wednesday. We ended up carrying someone again for Heroic Argus.
Yeah, that's our second AOTC.
Yeah, couldn't think of the name for a second. I think we could probably carry a couple more people, maybe up to 3, as long as they at least know the fight. I would say, right now I'd say 2, maybe 3 would be pushing it.
I'm taking a look real quick here to see if I can find...
Shensu was this week, I believe.
Shensu, that's right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep, found him in the chickens roster. So lacked a little bit of mythic experience, but did really well.
Yeah,
considering the mechanics that were to play.
And he was worried about his gear too, because. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to give a PSA for anyone doing mythics. If you're not world first, you don't need to worry about it too much.
Right.
But your gear level, as long as you can do the mechanics, that your gear doesn't matter nearly as much, except for on the DPS check fights. Then it's going to matter. But if you can survive, and I'm not calling anyone out, but Shen, never been in that fight, lived longer than some of those people who have been there on our kills almost every week, if not every week.
And it's not everyone, but
no, yeah, I mean,
survivability was noticeable.
Yeah, admittedly, he was a monk, so that gives it a little extra survivability because you got touch of karma or something like that, where I'm not gonna die, you're gonna take that damage. Right. It doesn't apply to everything, but it's like me with auto bubble. I don't have to do mechanics, but I do them anyway because that bubble later might
have to do mechanics.
I can survive one massive screw up. So I don't have, I will do them. Don't get me wrong. I do the mechanics mainly because, one, it helps the entire group, but also I might need that bubble later to finish off the fight by myself.
Oh yeah. Your solo action.
Well, I don't necessarily mean literally by myself, but as the lone DPS with Theory still tanking or something like that. So it does have its benefits for those rare instances. And that's what I have that talented for.
So I would say that, our group is pretty well tuned to our group, but I think that, for instance, our healing crew warps even my own sense of what we're expected to do. And so when other players come in who haven't had that kind of healing support, they pay a little bit more attention to avoidable damage that they don't have to take. Yeah, because it's noticeable. Our guys are pushing the DPS charts because our healers give them that latitude to. And then when we have guests in, they're like dodging stuff, trying to stay alive, and they're outlasting our regular crew. And that's fine because our group works the way our group works. That's the way we're tuned to do it right now. But it is noticeable in a funny way.
Yeah, I still try to do the mechanics, not getting hit by them. The exception, and Carrie brought it up, is the bombs over in Argus. I will wait until 3 seconds before it goes off before I use my little paladin horse to run away, because I can.
Yeah, and Foolproof can too. In 2 weeks in a row, I've called him out.
Yeah,
not because it's him, but because the person I saw in the you know it. I sent him a message. Apologizing because I don't mean to do that. It's a function of.
It's a raid leader function. You see the mechanics still there, so you're like, that needs to get out. Now when it's me, my character is semi-noticeable because of whatever, my wings or something. So you can see that it's me, and you're like, oh, he's got horse, no big deal. And on occasion, my horse is not up, so I run out early, but that's usually not the case. But anyway, other than that. Like I said, Overwatch with Jules and Marconin. We did a lot of the event stuff with.
I still have to do that.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
How long is it up?
I think till the end of the month.
Okay.
Maybe Tuesday. Okay. I don't know. Got a while yet. Either way, at least till Tuesday.
I'm sure it's in Alessandra's notes.
Yeah. Well, she didn't. I mean, I have the link. I just didn't go. I'm 99% sure it's to the end of the month, though, because they usually last 2 weeks. But a little bit of heroes, mostly cleaning out my my dailies, just because I haven't had the time between helping my relatives, dog sitting for my mom, because can't lock them in a crate for more than a couple hours at a time. Which, you know, they're like this big. I mean, I'm not kidding. They're like 5 pounds. They're tiny. So, you know, she's babying them, which, you know, they're just over 4 months old. Or just under 4 months old, actually. 3 days from now, they'll be 4 months old. Well, you know, 5 months old. They were born Christmas Eve, so do the math.
Well, I got my rescue dog the Thursday before Christmas, which I think is pretty close to that.
Yeah.
And he is recovering from getting hit by a car, but today I was able to let him out for the first time, not on a leash, and he still behaved. He's mellowed out significantly since his recovery has begun, which is actually really nice.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm never going to wish any animal gets hit by a car, but that would mellow one out really quick.
Yep. I will say I feel a little bad that I have enjoyed my time in his recovery because he has not been chewing on me or my stuff, and he's been very, very quiet, measured, you know, more like a member of the household than a destructive force of nature.
Well, you know, that's a dog. If you have a dog that barks, it's going to bark. It's going to be loud. It's going to be obnoxious. And depending on the size of the dog and the pitch of the bark, it might even echo. The little 5-pound dog that my mom has a bark that echoes. Her little pug, if you can get it to actually bark, because it almost never barks. It'll like make noises and stuff, but it doesn't actually usually bark. And this, you know, it's not Blizzard news, but whatever. I've only ever
you can use.
I know. Callback. If you can get it to bark, it's loud, but it doesn't echo. And you know, get it. The whole training process for the little puppies is going on, so maybe eventually they'll learn to shut up. But anyway, back to Video Games Week. That's been just about my week in terms of gaming. Mostly Warcraft. I did try the Protection Paladin Mage Tower, and there is
You haven't done that yet?
I've only done the Ret one and the Fire Mage, which I 2-shot. 1-shot? I don't remember. And then the Demon Hunter one, which I spent a little bit of time on. But the Paladin Protection one, I've got an issue. And...
You mean with the fight?
With the whole thing. I am seeing that everything is getting stunned. You hit the little Velen orbs, and everything stuns or it gets disoriented.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the tank one. But you hit the little Velen orb, everything gets disoriented, every cast is interrupted, and yet somehow I'm still getting knocked off the platform within 1 second of that. I am not standing in any ground effects or anything like that, so something is happening. I am not getting knocked off by an eye, other than the first time when I wasn't paying attention to the eyes, because I went in blind.
Well, the eyes have it.
Yeah, the eyes have it. That's easy. But you can see the line coming at you, so you know which way to face. But there's something there. I even recorded 3 attempts in a row because it was happening every time. And I can't find what's knocking me off. There's no cast going off, no nothing.
You know, I had a problem with that same fight when I was doing it, but I can't remember. I uncovered something that I was doing wrong, but I think Theory's the one that pointed it out. I don't think it was the same problem, though. Velen was dying. That's the problem I was having. And it was because even though I was stunning them, they were too close to him or something.
Yeah, I haven't had that issue because I'm a paladin. My AoE is nuts. I can just walk over there and, here's Consecrate. You can follow me around. I did find out that 9 to 10 stacks of whatever that debuff is too many, even at my level. So
yes.
I didn't realize what it did. So, oh well, fun. But whatever. So that's been my week. I did that for about 2 hours. Not straight through. Like I got up, I took a couple breaks, and then I went back into it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just done for the day. So I'm gonna try it again tomorrow.
Don't burn yourself out on the mage tower. That's
it's not.
way to go.
It's a flail, which is cool, but I don't really see myself tanking. But then again, I didn't see myself healing either, and I healed some mythics earlier because we needed a healer for like a couple of the achievements. That being said, at my item level, healing on a paladin is literally holy light, holy light, holy light, holy light, holy light.
Holy light.
I mean, I think I casted something else twice. And that was because I decided to DPS while I was healing. Because I outgear the content there, so I was like, yeah, I can heal that, no problem. But it was for achievements, it was for a good cause. Will I ever actually do any healing?
It
for
was
real?
For a good cause. Okay.
Yeah. Will I actually raid heal? No. I have Concordance 1. And that was just enough to get the mount. I have put no artifact power in it since then. So, just a tip, Gal, do not ask me to heal for raid, because the answer will be no, because you will die faster than normal.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever been that desperate, have I?
No. There's been a couple times where we need a healer. He's got all 3, but I'm terrible. I'm still terrible.
I need a healer.
Yeah.
I need a healer. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I need that song. The one from with Mercy. Oh, that's hit play button right there.
All right. That's been our weeks. Let's do some Blizzard news. Actual, from Blizzard stuff.
Blizzard news.
Yes. So...
we have to start with this one, don't we?
We got to start with a downer, because I want to raise up the show from there.
Okay.
Our silent guest has publicly announced that he is leaving Blizzard. Ben Brode, basically the face of Hearthstone, has said, guys, thanks, but I'm out. He was he used a lot more words. He was a lot nicer about it, but...
Go ahead, and I'll wait for you to get through your little monologue on him real quick here.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt. I was just going to say you got to understand, this is the hero of the common man of Blizzard. I mean, maybe I should write this in an article, because I got a friend who needs an article for his blog site on this. But Ben Brode delivered pizzas to the Blizzard headquarters at late night shifts, and because he met all the guys there, applied to be on the testing team, the late night testing team, and ended up as the lead guy on Hearthstone. Not just that, but I would say, arguably speaking, he is probably the most charismatic human being they had on their staff, even above Mike Morhaime. And
above Morhaime, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
But on their staff ever, I would say Metzen definitely has a higher, or at least had a higher level of.
He is on par with Metzen. Yeah, as far as charisma.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Brode is universally liked. No one's upset at Brode ever. He's the giant lovable fuzzball, the guy who everyone says, hey, I wish that was my story. I'd love to break into Blizzard. How could I get a pizza delivery job over there to get it? They would totally do that. So, and he's seemingly been very nice to everyone as well. I have not heard a single controversy about Ben Brode.
The only thing I've ever heard about Ben Brode is he laughs way too much.
That could be said of many of us.
But is that a bad thing, really? That just means he is enjoying what he does.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing. So, I mean, there are things out there of him just hour long of different times he's laughed in public on camera. So.
Yeah. I mean, you think of the kind of personalities that are involved in the makings of this high focus, type Bs all over the place, and a little bit of type A stuff, and just everyone has enjoyed the energy he's brought to it. And I'm kind of finding myself. Tell me this, Raven. Do you feel like you really want to know what he's doing next, because you have this inclination to maybe throw some money at whatever Ben Brode comes up with, just to help him get a start out there?
Well, I don't know for sure what he's going to do. Rumor has it, I can't confirm it because I've seen no confirmation from him or anything else. He's starting his own company. What that company is, no clue. But
the rumor was that it would be something in game development, like a game. They want to build a game, but that's as much as they have.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, then, well, I mean, we'll have to see. The only game I know he's actually worked on, has been Hearthstone. Outside of that, I mean, I'm sure he's in Warcraft all over the place. He's got like 4 or 5 different things named after him. So I'm sure he had a hand somewhere in there doing something, but I don't know what he did, if anything, there. So
you mean near like Elwyn Forest in the Silver Brode mine?
No. I'm talking like he had a garrison person walking around. Like he's got NPCs. There's a little book that mentions him. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 different things naming or referencing him specifically.
Do you mean like in the wetlands, the Ben crawlers? The Jasper Brode mine?
I can keep a straight face all night, so you can just keep going. But yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not really, but I am.
Yeah, I know. So obviously, sad to see him go.
Yeah.
But good luck. Keep us updated, because I'm if it is game related, I do want to see what it is. Just because I stopped playing Hearthstone had nothing to do with him. He was one of the few reasons why I kind of kept coming back every so often. In all honesty,
his bit in the woods was excellent. It's
been
getting better and better and better.
The raps were my personal favorite, and the dungeon crawl at BlizzCon, that was funny. I don't think that was all 100% him, but the way he was the face of Hearthstone. So what are you gonna do?
That's it, man. It was really good. So, yeah.
Yep. And now something kind of Blizzard related, but more from the fan side of it, and definitely a step up, like in terms of yay instead of aw.
Aw.
Yeah. So
like that.
Yeah, if you've ever been to BlizzCon, and if you haven't, I recommend going at least once. Preferably every year, but so far I've only been able to go once.
0.
Someday I'll go back. Someday. Dear Lottery, please let me win. I would like to go to BlizzCon every year forever. ConBeforeTheStorm, which is it started off as World of Podcast, which was a Roe thing and other people, but Roe was the main person that I know of who was doing it. It's become this huge thing, so it's now ConBeforeTheStorm. World of Podcast is just part of it. When I went, it was almost the entire floor on the Hilton.
Yep.
That year. And I mean, there's art galleries, there's the podcast people. I mean, not just like
they have the ballroom.
Yeah.
At the Hilton.
Yeah, it's not just the big name podcast people with like Scott Johnson and stuff like that. He'll probably more than likely show up and do something. But you got little nobody podcasters, the up and comer people. Last year, Totem, the co-host over on Heroes Never Die, who I was giving a hard time last week, he was there doing stuff with other people. Now I'm not saying he's a nobody. Don't take it that way. I'm just saying, not as big as Scott Johnson.
It's okay. Like the clip from the podcast will fit into a nice space where you call him a nobody.
That's fine. But so I mean, there's a bunch of different people. It's the night before BlizzCon. It's a nice party. The only downside to it is it's at usually the exact same time as the Wowhead party, and so you kind of have to pick one or the other. Pick ConBeforeTheStorm. It's better. I'm not paid to say that. I wish I was. But yeah, I mean, they're doing their Kickstarter, and
it's well underway.
Yeah.
By the way, look at the totals.
I know after one day they were a third of the way to goal.
They're at 11,411 out of 13,500.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's for the base goal.
85% of the goal.
Yeah, that's for the base goal. There are the higher ups, like, having
ratchet marks or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's
stretch
stuff.
goals.
Yeah, the stretch goals for like getting it to where it was last year, and then even then more so. So, if you've got some money to throw at it, I would. So, I mean, it's never a bad thing. You don't have to give them everything you have, but
yeah, the one that I usually try to support is the CTR one. More than that, because I don't get out there, but the CTR stuff's got some good perks like T-shirts and buttons.
Those are the two that whenever possible, I back. Before the Storm and CTR. Wowhead, I love Wowhead. I've never been to their party, but the last time I saw the Wowhead party that was any good was personal opinion. Preface of this, personal opinion, was back when Game Breaker was still a thing. Ever since then, I just haven't cared. So it's been a while. I'm sure they put on a great party and all that fun stuff. The devs will show up to Wowhead. They show up to Con Before the Storm. Celebrities will go to I don't want to say celebrities. Celebrities to nerds like us.
So nerd celebrities.
Yeah. Method. Game devs. People like, stuff like that. They'll show up to NCTR. We'll get them all too. Well, not all of them, but, some. So, yay! Kickstarter. Con Before the Storm. Give them money. Speaking of giving people money, Christy Golden's got that novel coming out. It's called Before the Storm.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go over to Amazon, you'll notice something a little different. One, it's available for pre-order, which has been for a while. But now there's an actual, synopsis. And it has been confirmed it takes place before BFA goes live. So,
how much are we talking about this? I mean, the description on there, is that sufficient?
Well, I don't want to go through the entire description because what I saw, it's really long.
Well,
Cliff's
the
notes.
Part I was going to mention is that the Cliff's notes is it goes through the whole Azeroth is wounded. How Sylvanas and Anduin react to what's going on with the Azerite and things like that. So that's kind of a perk to me. That sounds like a pretty cool side story.
Does it say if it happens before Teldrassil and Lordaeron or after? Does it say that? Because that has been technically confirmed as the pre-patch.
No, it does not.
Okay.
No, it does not. No, but I of all the books, this one is the one that's been most interesting looking to me. I don't normally get into those. I love books and I love fantasy books, but I haven't gotten into the series yet, which makes me behind some of our more notable lore masters in our circle of friends. But at the same time, I think that this one is. I wonder, are they intentionally omitting things that are coming out in B of A so they can put it inside content like this for mercantile purposes? But either way, it looks like a really good storyline.
It's hard to say simply because there's a lot of times where they will put stuff in the book and then the game feels disjointed because of it, because it's not there. So you're like, why is this character acting strange? Oh, because it was in the book. That kind of thing. I understand why they do it. I just wish they would have something in game too. So, but in terms of the book, I had a credit left on Audible.
Oh yeah.
So I went ahead and pre-ordered it for
nice.
So I was like, okay, I used up my last credit, and then I promptly canceled Audible because I don't get me wrong, I love Audible. If I could afford to keep it, I would. It's just right now not happening. So I'm tightening everywhere I can for that.
Keep your cash where you need to keep it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I pre-ordered it. I will give a non-spoiler review after it comes out, which will, it'll probably be that show that week. Because it'll come out and be like, okay, play. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to get in Discord for raid. Why? Because I don't need to. It's heroic.
That'll be better for us anyway. We won't have to worry about you talking in raid then.
Because I talk so much.
No, you've been much better about that. I appreciate it.
I'm giving you the Fry squinty eyes look right now.
Do I really trust this truck stop bathroom egg salad sandwich?
Speaking of trust and egg salad sandwiches,
wow, what a brilliant segue.
It was a stretch, like Fantastic Four stretch. If you have Blizzard Balance, God, I don't even want to go here after that terrible segue. If you've got Blizzard Balance, you can gift it.
Your truck stop egg salad sandwich to your friends.
Yes. So I could buy this sandwich and give it to Galv, and then maybe he will miss raid night. Here. No, but Blizzard Balance, aka if you don't use your WoW token for 1 month, you'll get $15 of Blizzard Balance. Well, you can now send that $15 to your friend, or $1.
Go over that again. Don't use a WoW token for a month. You get Blizzard Balance? What?
Okay, so the WoW token. You have options. You can use it for 1 month of WoW time, or $15, despite the fact that it costed somebody else $20 to buy. Conversions. Okay. Blizzard takes 5 no matter what.
Now I'm following.
I'm
following. Okay. So it's not like I have this thing stashed in my inventory and I'm going to get magical money every month. That's not it.
You can. If you bought it off the auction house and you just left it there, you can get Blizzard Balance off of it instead of using it to buy a month of WoW time. So if you bought 12 of them and you're like, I only need 1 of them right now, hit 1. Okay, I'm going to take the rest of those, the 11s, Blizzard Balance, and then I'll just buy the tokens as they come out as I use my own gold. You could do that. But now with that Blizzard Balance being giftable, you could send 1173. Why would you send that much? Because it would confuse whoever you sent it to, unless that was what they asked for. You can just send it from people, and it will actually say, sent by whatever your battle tag is. So you could say, hey, thanks, kind of thing. Which means, if I wanted to, Galv, I'm sure you already have it pre-ordered, I could, with WoW tokens, I could buy BFA.
I do.
Yeah, I figured. But I could buy BFA with WoW token balance.
Foregone conclusion, am I?
Yeah. Or I could use that money from tokens and then send that money to Galv and say, here, buy BFA. I want you in the raid. I would never actually do that because it's Galv. But
thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I try. But it's an option, at least. It's an option that people have been asking for a while.
It's a huge, I guess, there's a risk side to it. Obviously, fraud is a major risk. Someone's account gets hacked. The potential for loss is there.
You have to have an authenticator to send and receive. I believe I saw that. So that helps.
Yeah, that's good. But I mean, I'm just like, that's one of the things that is part of my professional life outside of gaming is financial industry stuff, and the risk potential for that kind of thing is noticeable to me. But as long as, at least having authenticators on both sides, if you can't prevent it, like if it's a really good hack, at least you can track it. Because I think those authenticators are pretty easy to follow.
If they're not foolproof. They're not.
No, if they were, they'd yell at you every time you tried to use one.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to double check that my security is right. Really? Again? Come on, gal.
Yeah. So they're not unhackable, but does take quite a bit of effort and timing. Like, you have to do certain things at very specific times while the other person is doing. So it is harder. And so there's that. But it is not impossible, but it is definitely much more difficult than, here's your email and your password.
Yeah. Let's see what we got going on here.
Yep.
Oh.
We're going to get dark, guys.
Yeah. I mean, you said you're going to try to lift things up in the podcast, but, you know.
Yeah, it's going to get dark here for a second. I don't know. So, heroes. I was trying to think.
I was sitting there waiting to watch my own special effects on this stream.
Yeah. I was sitting here like, how do I segue that? There's something coming. It's been data mined. There's no official anything on it yet. I mean, Deckard Cain is on PTR. They're going to do a Brawl with the Blues on Wednesday or Tuesday. I forget which one. Basically, when he comes out, they're doing it. So, probably Tuesday. But after that, there's something coming called the Dark Nexus. And so far, we have very little information outside of Alarak is getting new skins, Gul'dan is getting new skins. I would imagine some of the other characters will be getting new skins also. But mainly, the part I'm interested in are the 2 mounts.
I'm kind of interested in the concept of Dark Nexus. It can't just be a visual.
I'm thinking what it's going to be from what the descriptions that have been found is going to be things like they started with these 2 for a reason, because they're dark and chaotic and full of hate. That's what everyone is going to be. So they might be giving skins to everybody, is what I'm kind of hoping for.
I'm just hoping it's not a skins only.
Well, there's the mounts. It might just be a brawl. We don't know yet.
Well, all right. Let me pitch you this way. Other than new characters, they really don't deliver a ton of new content on a regular basis for Heroes of the Storm.
Every now and then they put out weird little brawls, but that's where most of the content's going to be. I mean, what can you really do in there outside of
maps or
maps take a long time, and there's a lot of maps already. And yeah, some of them are old and busted, but
old and busted or new and swanky?
New hot.
Right? New hotness.
Old and busted, right. New hotness. Which one is Hanamura? I'm going to go with, despite it being one of the new ones, it's old and busted. Why? Because they took it away and we still haven't got it back.
So it's at least busted, if not old and busted.
Yeah. But
I mean, like, what if they had some different maps that were unbalanced? Attack and defend maps rather than just both ways, for example. There's different ways they could do general gameplay that isn't so you know what I mean. Like the gameplay right now is 2 towers and stuff in between that kills the 2 towers. Maybe a little more.
Well, you see, what had happened was Isengard sent out its stuff, and Rohan was in the middle. Sorry. But no, I mean, I get what you're saying, but they do have a brawl like that. It's a take on the pirate map, Blackheart's Bay, where one team is attacking, the other is defending. The problem is that's not balanced, and people don't really like it. Most people. Well, some people do.
It should be. I'm not saying emulate Overwatch, but if you do unbalanced maps, whether it was in Star Wars Battlefront back in the day when they introduced Hoth, and one was the attackers, the Imperials, and one was the defenders, the Rebels, and the Rebels almost always got slaughtered. The question is, when they flipped the map and you got to play the other team, who had the better performance? And that's how they measured the win-loss. So if you intentionally build an unbalanced map, you have to have a flip. You know what I mean? You can't just play one side of the coin.
Yeah. Now, if they did that, I'd be fine with that. I would say defender's advantage should be a thing, but that's just
for sure.
Oh, that's just my brain how it works, and that might happen. But
yeah, I mean, like, what if, for example, rather than having a base, the attackers had a limited respawn. You know what I mean? Where there was depletion.
You'd have to do something similar for the defenders, but they get a higher number or something. Or
right.
Or what I would like to see is every time someone on your team dies, the respawn timer increases by like 2 seconds. So you can start at like here's
so it's not level based. It's penalty timer.
Yeah, it's just if your team dies. Well, you gotta wait. Your team died again. You gotta wait a little longer. Maybe it's only a 2 second thing, but it adds up. And maybe even during the map, it can come back down if no one dies for a while.
But it's like if it hits a critical level, you lose.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like your entire team wiped. You don't get to respawn.
Exactly.
That could be, but yeah, that could be an interesting game mode. I don't know that they would do that. But like I was saying, I'm kind of more interested for what we've seen so far between the skins and the mounts and stuff like that. The mounts look cool. The Nether Ray from Warcraft, it's called a mana ray, I think. But it looks like the
mana, right? Not manta, mana.
I think it's manta. It looks like a Nether Ray from Warcraft. But
I'm thinking of the Nether Rays from old school, not Cataclysm.
Burning Crusade.
Burning Crusade, yeah. The Nether Fry.
It looks like a much higher definition version of that. That looks interesting. Doesn't fly too high off the ground, but it looks kind of like that. The other one is a skeletal dog.
Ooh.
It looks really cool.
They should have Arthas.
That would be funny. As a spray.
Wouldn't that be pretty awesome?
I would put him in as a spray, not an actual mount.
An oversized Arthas. Or an undersized Arthas, and Cho'Gall just like perched precariously on top of him.
If they put Arthas in the game, it's got to be only available to Arthas himself or Death Knight characters type. So I could even go. I'd even go as far to say Dreadlord Jaina skin could have access to it, but it couldn't be an everybody thing. I don't think, because it would just be
hilarious.
It would be, but I don't know. There's just something about like seeing Cho'Gall on it that would just sit wrong. Now, if he's carrying it, that'd be funny because he could just carry it in his arm instead of on his shoulder.
Like
Dr. Evil.
Something like that. Yeah.
Dr. Evil running around. But yeah, that'd be interesting.
Cho'Gall. He should do that with all of them. Like instead of throwing the horse over his shoulder, he should cradle it in his arms and pet it while he runs.
I think small would be okay to do it like that, but I don't want to see a horse being cradled in his arm because the size difference is just too weird.
Well, maybe it would drag behind him a little bit, but
oh, there's just too many ideas I have for that.
Right?
Cho'Gall just dragging a horse. He's holding on to the back feet and he's just dragging. See that?
Or he's holding on to the front two legs and shoulder, like petting the horse's head while the rest of it drags along behind with the tail flapping.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Oh,
but
the Nexus's version of PETA would be up in arms.
I think regular PETA would be up in arms. I know it's only a video game, but you're promoting violence. Yeah.
It's not our fault. He's not the brightest of Galls, that Cho'Gall.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much the big news for Heroes, is something that's not out yet. But it looks interesting. The mounts look cool. And in honor of our silent guest, Mr. Brode, who is not actually here,
that would be phenomenal if we could get him on. I should like message him.
Yeah.
Not likely, right?
So
hey, we're a startup podcast that delivers really bad news at like really odd times of night on Saturdays.
Not necessarily bad news, just delivers the news
badly. Yeah, badly.
Yeah.
You gotta phrase it right.
Yeah. It's just more. Well, I'll talk to you about it after the show for why that would be insanely difficult. But
the point is not that it would actually happen. The point is
you never know.
You throw it up against the wall and hope it sticks.
Ew, it's sticky. Anyway, Hearthstone.
Yes.
Ben, what is your thought on Hearthstone? That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What did you think about that really strange one-shot mechanic that came out this week in a Admittedly, just a wild deck, so not all that important.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear about it? Okay, well, let me tell you about it then. There was these two guys playing. Gal, you know more about it than me. I only saw the clip. I don't remember the names.
Yep.
But it was a wild deck.
Meow. The guy who was casting was named like Meowth or something like that. A play off of a name from Pokemon. But he was dominating the action. And if you've seen the clip, I put it on my Twitter stream. But his opponent had 2 health left. He had a wall of high cost, high health damage druid minions. You call it a druid wall, like the giant tree ants, 10 health, 5 attack. His whole board was blocked off. It looked like basically he had put up a fortress of "I'm destroying you." And he's chatting in his chat with his chat room. He's like, la 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 la. Oh, this is great. Look at this. Man, I can't believe he hasn't surrendered yet. La 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 la. So the guy plays Aviana. And Aviana is a 9-cost legendary. His opponent, and whose name I can't remember.
Rats.
Anyway,
that one I do remember. His name was Rats.
It was Rats. So I'll try to set the scene for you. He has 10 mana to start with. Okay, we're that late in the game. He plays Aviana, who costs 9. Okay, but Aviana's special ability says every other character you play this turn costs 1. Okay, so he's down to 1 mana. Then he plays Kun, the Lord Kun. It's you play him, he costs 10 normally, and he either refills your mana or gives you 10 armor. So he refilled his mana. So now his first 10 mana is spent. All his minions cost 1. He's got 10 more mana. Throws down a new card from Witchwood, which is a mechanical that doubles the damage of or healing of your hero power. And the guy's like, wow, he's still playing cards. Like, this is weird, but I don't see this going anywhere. Then he cube locks the mechanical. When the cube, or not cube lock, it's the cube. The cube eats a card, and when that cube dies, it spits out 2 copies of that card. Okay, so he's got this cube. He uses Faceless Manipulator on the cube. Yeah. Now he's got 2 cubes holding 4 of these mechanicals. He uses a second Faceless Manipulator on the cube. Now he's got 3 cubes with 6 of these mechanicals, and the guy's like, "What the hell is going on?" Yeah. And then he plays
Deathwing. Oh yeah, he played Major Domo. Well, actually, he played Major Domo before he played the mechanical with the weird.
That could be.
Yeah.
Major
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Means nothing except for when Major Domo dies, he turns your hero card into Ragnaros, who does 8 damage with his hero ability to a random character on the map.
Random enemy character.
A random enemy character, right? Which means that this guy's got a wall of taunts. It's a 1 in 8 shot that he'd hit the guy if Major Domo. But then, as you said, he drops Deathwing. Deathwing instantly discards his entire hand. He's got 4 mana left now. He destroys everyone on the board. All
except
the characters.
Deathwing.
Right, Deathwing stays. Deathwing stays. But now the 3 cubes pop, and Major Domo's Executives pops. The guy gets Ragnaros as his hero character, which has like 15 health now anyway, but that's irrelevant.
8 health.
Right, it helps. And now he's got boom, 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 boom. 6 of these guys that multiply the damage or healing of your hero ability by 2. This guy, Meow, is like covering his face in horror. He mouses over Ragnaros' hero ability. It says, does 512 damage to a random opponent. And there's nothing on his side of the board but him. And then the guy clicks it, and his character just explodes. And he's like, what the hell just happened? Just destroyed him. I've never seen 512 damage before. That's insane.
So, yeah, it was. But here's my problem with it. Was it staged?
It may have been staged. But
if it was staged, bravo.
Yeah.
Getting it set up like that. If it wasn't staged, holy crap. Well, but it just everything was set up in such a way that it just I don't think it was actually staged because it looks like the guy was actually streaming. So it would have taken
that many Faceless Manipulators to do that much.
But
he stacked it. I mean, let's be real here. If it was me, I'd have done the exact same thing if I knew I could. Absolutely.
So I don't think it was actually staged because of the streaming part of it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't. That's my worry on it too, staged or not staged.
Even so.
But either way, the fact that someone sat down to figure it out that this could happen, that takes some imagination right there.
Well, and so it was brought to my attention because I loiter on Polygon's website, which has a lot of good news for what's going on in the video game world. And the author there correctly pointed out that if you don't know Hearthstone, and some of you may play it, may not, having yourself down that far in the hole, they're like, this person scraped to the bottom of their deck to find all of these key component cards that had to be played in an excruciatingly specific order to make this work. So the fact that their opponent had a board full of enemies that were basically unchecked at that point in the game, which was irrelevant to them, but they did, you have no awareness of this at the time. It's like it was part of the strategy, like a lot of the one-turn kill decks, where you're basically surviving until you've got just the right cards to make your kill happen. So his guy was probably getting strung along the whole time, but it was a glorious kill. You watched it, right?
Oh, I watched it a few times. I was like,
what?
I watched a few seconds of it. I was like, okay, Aviana, I know what that card does.
Right.
And then the next one, I was like, I don't know this card. I paused it while it was up in the air. I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go with mana on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what his cards are.
Only in Wild.
Yeah.
Right? Only in Wild.
Only in Wild. And then I believe it was Major Domo next. I was like, that's weird. And then that double your hero power, I was like, oh God. That was the moment I knew something was up.
Right.
I mean, I knew something was up because of the clip.
Was he playing a druid, right?
I don't even remember.
Druid is where that so double your hero power, you have one attack and one damage, or one attack. It's like it doesn't make any sense yet, except for Major Domo was the clue.
As soon as I saw Major Domo and then that next double power, I was like, okay, there's something here. I had not actually, because I have not been following Hearthstone, the cube, I didn't know. And then I saw what it did, and I was like, oh God. And right then I knew what it was that happened.
Right.
I did not know at the time it was going to be 512. But I knew it was going to be a big number.
I didn't know it worked like that. I didn't know. I mean, I thought maybe times 2.
Yeah, 8, 16, 32, 64. Right there, that was enough to kill.
Right, like you're 64. Only adding 16 more and not multiplying.
No, you're whatever it is, you're doubling it for each one. He had 6 of these.
Right.
So 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 300, blah, blah, blah. 600, all the way up.
Oh.
So yeah, that was entertaining.
Explosion.
Even as a not follower of Hearthstone, that was entertaining. That if stuff like that could happen, I might actually follow Hearthstone a little bit more. But
that was like Deathwing burning down Stormwind.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Well,
anyway.
If you guys liked that replay effort, if you liked how Draven and I recapped that event, you may also appreciate the next bit of news.
Well, let's not get their hopes up for what we can do. This is actually like people being good at casting. A while back, Hearthstone did just like last year. So you think you can cast competition, and you had to send in your application audition. Yeah. Well, we just yesterday actually they announced the results. And do you have this pulled up, Calv?
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Who? Like I see the names. Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't know. Obviously, I don't know who they are because 1, Hearthstone, and 2, Hearthstone.
What I will say is that, for example, the best one is the Will Scarlet and Dr. Jinkalinky is what I would have expected. Is they had a really rough setup, but when I watched it all the way to the end, they hit a groove. Like there was a point at which they actually sounded good and competent and engaging. So you got the top 4 people from their submission VODs, and it looks like they're going to be using them for the Hearthstone Collegiate Championship bracket, April 28th and 29th. So they're not going to be, HGC yet.
HCT?
Was it?
You said HGC, which is Heroes. I think it's HCT for
Hearthstone Championship Tournament.
Something
whatever
like that. Yeah.
The point is they're on the collegiate one, which means they're going to get a lot of time, on the clock doing this job, but it's not on the biggest stage yet. So if a couple of them work out real well,
might see some new casters for. I mean, I wouldn't imagine this year, but maybe next year BlizzCon.
I mean, the more tournaments and things they've got going on, the more people they need for those kinds of jobs. You can't spread your talent too thin. So, hey, get your VODs on. If they do this again, submit.
Yeah, if you think you're good at it, go for it. You have to have a knowledge of the game, though. That's despite what Twitch chat says. These people really do have knowledge of the game, or are entertaining enough that it doesn't matter.
And it's a little bit of both, because I mean, there's some people with knowledge of the game, and there's some people with. A great example is what you said, Draven. The person who came up with that one-shot kill, the level of creativity that some of these people have in deck construction or innovation is a special type of intelligence, I would say, is compared to other people who have situational awareness or tactical, in the moment. It takes all kinds, and to have a little bit of that fits the bill of what you're looking for a caster, it's really cool. I mean, a good caster where you don't see it yet, but the caster catches it and they can bring you along for the ride, so you're in the know, even if the person's opponent may not be yet. So that kind of stuff I always appreciate.
Yeah. And then even if it's something just completely wacky, they'd be like, if they pulled this card, they could do this. That'll never happen because no one in their right mind would play this combination of cards. But it'd be really funny if they did. That kind of thing would be entertaining. Me, I'm never going to be a caster. One, no.
Based for radio.
Well, there's that too. But
always for silent films. Who steals that from you? That's Cuddles says that's your line.
I don't remember. I said it a long time ago, and someone just kind of.
He remembers it. He quotes you on that one. But in a nice way.
Yeah, I should start charging him royalties.
You should.
Yeah. Speaking of royalties, I think the Monster Hunter thing that we're getting will be owing some royalties to the dungeon crawl. The
dungeon crawl.
Yeah. Basically, the TLDR of the Monster Hunt, which is the dungeon crawl of this particular Hearthstone expansion, you get, instead of playing as any hero and going through, you have 4 specifics that you get, and they each have their own hero power. Okay, that sounds cool.
You gotta look. You guys, if you're watching this, even if you're not into Hearthstone, you gotta look at the intro videos at the Hearthstone website.
Yeah, I only saw the Dave Kosak video of him talking about it with a couple of coworkers.
Right.
But you have these 4 heroes. They each have weird abilities. Like one is Scavenge, which is any spell your opponent played, you can scavenge. And I don't know if you get like the 3 picker or if it just hands you a card. I didn't see anything. It's a 3?
I think it's any, because if it's played during their turn, that's a great question. I would assume that if it's a spell played during their turn, Scavenge should let you choose of the last turn spells played. Maybe they played more than one, right?
Well, it's any in the game. Any spell
that they have played.
Any played spell from, I believe it's from your opponent.
Your opponent.
So basically, if you get up to a point where your opponent played a secret and you don't know what it is, and that's the only spell they played, Scavenge, you now know what it is. Yep. If they played a 30... If they play a special Pyroblast, which does 30 to the face, and you somehow survive it, Scavenge, I have 30 to the face now.
A special Pyroblast that does 30 to
I'm just
the
making
face.
crap up. I know it doesn't. But there.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
I used the roasting rod for the first time today. It did not go well. It was a desperation.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are times where you're going to get crap, but there's the potential of getting useful information. And then there's another one that has this indestructible cannon. And anytime you use your hero power, it fires across the board. If there's nothing there, it hits the opponent in the face. If there's something, 1 card in front of it, it hits it for 2 or 3 damage. But
Do you remember the event from Karazhan, the chess match?
Yeah, it works like chess, except for your hero power. You use your hero power, it fires. So if there's only one thing right across from it, it hits one thing. If there's two things, it hits both.
And it's indestructible.
It's
not removable from the board.
And you can have more than one of these cannons out at a time.
I was gonna say that, but I wanted you to have a shot.
Didn't.
Yeah. So the dev who was talking with him about this said he got his best ever. He got 5 cannons on the map.
4. He got 4 of them, and he couldn't get the 5th one.
Before he died, obviously he was trying to cheese the mechanic and get the cannons out rather than survive.
Yeah.
But makes still, sense. It looks like a fun toy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't really have any information on the other 2 heroes. I haven't gone to the website to look them up yet. So I don't really know. But I do know there is a special boss that you can't even fight until you beat Monster Hunter with all 4 of these heroes.
Yeah, and it's themed after one of the most difficult to defeat cards in the meta right now. The Witch.
And it's more powerful than her.
Yeah. A way more powerful one than her. Let's see real quick here if I can find it. But the 4 Hagatha is the Witch, which is, God, she is just a beast. I came across her in ranked play. Not helpful.
Yeah.
All right, unique heroes. There's the Tracker, the Canyon, the Time Tinker, and the Hound Master.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about those 2.
I don't know. It's not giving me additional information. We've heard about the Tracker, the Scavenge. Cannier is, and then the Time Tinker is a mage theme, and the Hound Master is a hunter theme deck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll get more information. Apparently, it's going live on Tuesday or Thursday, like next week.
Coming out. It's coming out.
It's coming out. I know I will be loading up Hearthstone just to test it out because apparently it gives you the cards.
Like the dungeon run.
No
cost to play.
So yeah, I still haven't beat the dungeon run with everyone. So
hey, that's news this week. I actually won on Mage. You think Mage would be an easy one?
No,
it's been giving me trouble.
Mage is not easy. That being said, I think it was the second one I beat it with. But it is not easy. None of them are actually overly easy. But so yeah, Hearthstone stuff that even I'm looking forward to. That says something.
What's it coming to? What's
this world coming to? You know what it's not coming to? Another $80 out of my pocket.
But it's so cool.
Oh,
cool.
I want it really badly.
You do a Kickstarter.
First off, I'm going to preface this by saying, yes, I want it. No, I don't want one person in particular, and they know who they are, to buy it for me. But there is, those Figma figures that Overwatch has been doing. Like Diva has one, Tracer has one. I think she was the first one. That kind of thing. Well, they made a Reaper one finally, and
so cool.
It's one of the very few that I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I want that. But I'm sticking with my guns here. I don't think it's worth $80. If it was $50, maybe.
Whether it's worth it or whether you should actually shell out for it. Because...
Yeah. I mean, that's a personal opinion. Someone else will think it's worth it. That's fine. The Diva one, which I think was actually more expensive because I had the mech, I could see that one for about $80 because they are posable.
It just looks so cool.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's not the giant statue either. But
no, I mean, I have the giant statue. I paid way too much for that, and I don't regret that. But
you're such a glutton for punishment sometimes.
I know. I'm weird. I collect weird. Like, if I could, I would buy myself the Widowmaker one to put next to it.
Yeah.
The Diva one. Yeah, I'd get the Diva one too. Tracer, I'm not really. If they ever made a Junkrat one, yeah, I want that. Depending on the pose.
You gotta have him like in the casual sitting down pose with his leg like perched over that big hoverboard of treasure. That would be pretty cool.
I could think of a few funny poses for the Junkrat statue, but
like the one where he hits himself in the nads with the round.
Honestly, if they're gonna make a statue of Junkrat, there's only one pose I can think of that would actually make sense, and that is him pulling the chain on the rip tire.
Oh, that's a good one.
Out of all the Junkrat poses, I think that's the most iconic one.
Yeah, that's a good one. But how would you pose that one in a bunch of different... Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking for the Figma. I'm talking the actual freaking statue.
Oh, the statue. Yes.
For the Figma, that does make sense. Get the posable and you can do whatever. I don't care. But yeah, Figma Reaper is now a thing. It's on pre-order. $80. If you want it, it looks amazing. Don't get me wrong when I say I'm not going to spend money on it.
It's a Figma of your imagination. Because you can pose it.
Bad. It's not in the show notes, but I did see also custom jerseys are a thing for Overwatch League. Mm-hmm. So you can get a team jersey with your name and whatever number you pick, as long as it's not actually being used.
I may have to get that.
They're like $100.
I may have to wait until I see someone else with one before I comment on it.
Yeah, from what I hear,
I've never
they're really cool, but yeah, from what I hear, they're really nicely made and stuff like that. And there's just a combination of being able to put your name on a jersey for your team that you like.
So I said I've never spent money on my own NFL jersey, and that's true. But I have a friend who was going through a pretty tough time, and I intentionally spent money on an NFL jersey for him. And knowing his history with Halloween parties and so on and so forth, I got him one that said Harambe on the back. So it was a Vikings jersey with Harambe, because that was following, obviously, the awful incident at the Cincinnati Zoo or whatever it was. But the the Vikings had been known for talking about winning one for Harambe, and Brett Favre was saying, well, anyway, long story short is there was a backstory to it. So it had multiple facets, but for other people, it's a definite pick me up. So maybe someone could get you your favorite team's jersey for Overwatch, Draven.
Well, okay, so here's the problem. I don't really have a favorite team.
Well, I can tell you one team that's probably not your favorite. You want to guess?
Boston. Seoul. LA.
You're exclusively naming teams that have won.
Okay, so there's one team that hasn't won, and yet everyone is still cheering for them. It doesn't matter who they face.
Yeah.
Shanghai Dragons, who, fun side fact, I bought a Shanghai Dragon skin with Overwatch League tokens. That was the first one I bought, was Diva. Despite I have a better skin for Diva, I bought the Diva one because the night Gregory or however she says her name.
Gregory.
Yeah. They almost won. They did really well despite having some issues with communication, because Korean is not the same as Chinese.
Correct.
I went out and I got that one, and then I bought a Junkrat skin for another team, and I've only bought those two so far.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I should do that, because it's worth supporting them. It's not easy. They're not playing an easy thing.
Yeah. Well,
but 0 wins.
0 wins. Okay, but right now they're rebuilding. They're getting better. They know it's going to happen at some point. Right now, their biggest issue is half the team is speaking Chinese, the other half is speaking Korean. And while they can kind of communicate, the level needed at that level of play isn't there yet.
Right.
So as they are learning, other language to communicate better, they're getting noticeably better. Like this stage versus the previous two is night and day. You wouldn't think they're the same team, despite the fact that they still haven't won, but they are way better. But every single time, even Twitch chat is going, let him win, let him win, let him win, please let him win. Like,
right.
Instead of Twitch chat being normal Twitch chat, which if you spend any time on Twitch on any esport, you know what Twitch chat can be like, or half the streams really.
That's absolutely true. How would I preface this in a useful or interesting way? I don't think, and I think it would be, they would not want to win a game because the other team is letting them win a game. I think that would be rough.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be a giveaway. I want them to work for it.
Right.
But when that happens, like they've won matches, they just haven't won a series, or match rather, not matches. So
But if it was a giveaway though, that would totally hurt the league.
That would ruin it.
Yeah. So it cannot go that way.
Yeah, it's got to be earned. I would imagine a 3-2 would be the way it would go if it does. Now, if it ended up being a 3-0, depending on if it was against Dallas, no one would question it because Dallas has been playing well. They've been getting better lately, but until recently,
they've had Shanghai's number every time though. Everyone's had Shanghai's number every time. So.
Just about.
Not to say much about that.
But here's the kicker about Shanghai. Only 3 teams have not 4-0'd them.
Yeah, they get wins.
They get map wins, but one team in particular that everyone was like, that'll never happen, was Seoul Dynasty, which was considered the best. Despite the rankings, they're still considered one of the best teams until recently. They didn't 4-0 the Dragons. And that made everyone go, maybe Shanghai is closer to a win than we thought. Like, we know it's going to be at least a week or two. We're hoping sooner than later. Even me, I'm not a fan of Shanghai overall, but I want to see him win.
It's on an entirely different level than other sports where fans want to see parity in the sport, and that's true. But this is beyond parity. This is like if a team has been exclusively the Cleveland Browns. For the sorry.
Even then, I'm from Ohio. I still root for Cleveland to lose, mainly because my parents like the Browns, and it started off as just.
It's fun to be that way.
Yeah, it's fun to be that way. Now I just don't care. I'm just like, oh, Cleveland lost, okay.
But you get my point. It's not like they had something and then they lost it. They came out of the gates playing relatively well.
Prior to Overwatch League, most of those players were on really well-known, high-up teams. They put them together and like, oh, this will work, and then it didn't. It's kind of like Dallas, for that matter. Oh, we're going to be number 1 or number 2. No.
One of my favorites to watch is the Renegades. Is it Houston Outlaws? Houston Outlaws. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So
I watch quite a few. In fact, I've got another tab open. It's muted, of course, but I've got another tab open. I haven't checked it since the show started, but it's on. It's running.
That's good times.
Yeah. So it's whenever it's on, I have it on, mainly because I like those free tokens for free skins.
So,
you know what else about competitive is going on? Not Overwatch,
the Mythic Dungeon Invitational.
Yes.
All right, so I didn't get super deep into this from your show notes. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah. So my show notes literally say MDI, just behind the scenes thing. Yeah. Basically, it's just...
Well, yes.
It's dungeons, people. Where they're just groups of 5 people going through doing high-key Mythic Pluses. 22, 23, 24, depending. I think it goes up to 25 for like the finals for that particular stage. Well, last week we mentioned a team that was called No Healer, who literally did one of them without a healer. Well, they most of them they've gone without a healer, but they did one in like 10 minutes. One of them, Mythic plus 22 in 10 minutes.
What? How are they?
I don't know what comp they use. I didn't see it.
All right.
I really meant to go back and I just got sidetracked and forgot. So fail.
All right.
But yeah. Well, this weekend, and it's actually on right now, so I'll probably be throwing a host over to them when we're done.
Okay.
It's the Asian groups, not the it went Australia area last week. This week it's Asian. I think next week is European, and then North American week after, something like that.
Okay.
So it's always interesting to see what they do, because they'll go through, they pull most of the time exactly the right amount of trash. Because
they have it down to a science.
They have
exactly
to.
How many
they have to, because it's a speed run.
Yep.
And every time you die, you lose extra time. So, not a whole lot of details, but if you want to check it out, it's over on Twitch now. I would request that you wait until we're done before you head over there, or just wait until I host them. But if you went over there instead of us, I wouldn't hold it against you either.
I would. I think it's totally fair for me to hold it against you.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just wait. It's fine. You'll live.
Yeah. And the other current Warcraft news, Mage Tower again.
It's up.
Well, I mentioned
what, Sunday?
For US servers at some point Sunday, yeah. I think it's early Sunday. So tomorrow morning, I think. I'd have to look. But either way, you have a little bit of time. I probably will be going back into Warcraft after we're done, trying to get the Paladin one, a couple tries, not too many.
Well, okay.
A warm-up, and then maybe a couple serious ones.
Super serious?
Yeah.
You know the meme with super serious?
Sure.
Sirius Black wearing the Superman costume?
Oh. I'm more a fan of the Why So Serious.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't think that with my mage's name being literally Why So Serious. It's a worgen.
Yeah.
Hey, Harry Dresden was taken. H-A-I-R. H-A-I-R-Y. But, yeah. So I'll probably try the Mage Tower a couple times. I have one complaint about the Mage Tower.
You can't complain about anything.
Well, besides the fact that I have some random thing knocking me off every time. Almost every time.
Okay.
Why can't I do it off spec? Like, I know it's a prot one. Why can't I go in as holy or ret?
It's designed to challenge the spec in which you're supposed to do it.
Okay. What if I want the extra challenge of doing it off spec?
It's not an extra challenge.
Maybe.
Well, no, because the tank challenge would be made super easy with regards to if you could use a DPS spec against it. There were a couple where I'd do one shots of, and then I'd switch to a DPS spec, and it goes, whoa, this is easy. It's just so difficult, and then all of a sudden you do it on one that you really shouldn't be, and it's a walk in the.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I did getting the artifacts on my paladin, I did them as ret. Until I needed the specific cleanse of holy, so then I went holy for that little bit, and then I went back ret when I could. So yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. But I would like I understand it's a personal gripe. I know I could easily one shot it as a ret, and it would just be completely not fair. Which is why I want to do it.
I know.
But
you can't always get what you want.
I know.
But if you try sometimes, you get what you need, or you don't pass the Mage Tower.
Apparently, I don't need the flail.
Well, that was the next step.
Yeah. So hopefully I get it, but yeah, it'd be funny. Okay. So now, we're not going to do spoilers. We're going to mention some stuff. There's a couple things in the alpha coming up that we wanted to talk about. If you don't want to hear anything about the alpha at all, go ahead and go watch the MDI.
All right. Have a good night, Draven.
I'm not talking to you. You signed up for this.
Oh, God. All right. I'll stick around a little longer.
So, non-spoiler stuff first, and then we'll just mention a couple things that are coming that are not necessarily spoilers, but it's just literally going to be mentions. We're not going to spoil anything at all. Just
fair enough.
Heads up.
I will admit I did not dig that far in because of I'm spoiler averse. Except the one time you invited me on for a spoiler episode.
Yeah.
Then I dug into it for the purpose of the spoiler episode.
So we're not spoiling anything. It's just stuff that's coming that maybe not want to be aware of. First up, the achievement system is getting a slight overhaul. Instead of, say, Wintergrass being in the PvP section, there's a new section coming out. It's going to be called Expansion Features, which will have every expansion. So I think what they're going to do is, like, Wintergrass would be then put into Wrath for the expansion features. Like, so the achievements there would go in there instead of PvP. Things like that. So I think that what they're going to do from now on is, here's the achievement system. Okay, open up which expansion do you want to look at? Okay, this is where it is. So it's getting...
I find this to be a useful and tasteful way of doing it.
I'm like, from what I've seen of it, it looks way better. So it makes it easier to find the achievements you're looking for if you know what expansion they're from.
Yep.
Yeah. So yay. Also,
I've always found the achievement system to be really difficult to navigate.
Well, luckily they put a search bar up now, so you can actually help. So yeah, there's that. Also, hey Gal, do you remember BlizzCon this year? Like, I know you weren't actually there, were you?
I know what you're talking about now. Yes, I remember some amazing cosplay from BlizzCon. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you actually look way over here past Galv, there's actually a picture of said cosplay.
It's
who won?
Phenomenal. I mean, it's like a shout out. But if you don't follow Kaz on Twitter or any of the stuff that Kaz is doing what a fantastic cosplayer.
Yeah.
Like, makes me want to get into cosplay that good. Go check out the Hogger. Articulating neck joints. I mean, we've got some friends in our circles, Silverbolt and Pasha, people that are into cosplay. These are it's that quality of
I would actually argue maybe even past that, because she's actually won the contest.
Yeah.
The other two,
totally
in all fairness, Pasha and Silverbolt haven't entered the contest, so we don't know.
Right, but I mean, I'm just saying that of people we know, of people that our viewers in this case may relate to, this is someone that they follow and talk with, and that is a winner of the cosplay. It's that good.
Yeah. So
check it out.
She revealed afterwards that she got to pick her prize, which was either A, lump sum of cash. I believe it was $3,000. Do not quote me on that, but I think that's what it was. Or B, half that and an in-game tribute. Being a player of the game and someone who's like if it was me, I'd have picked the same thing. She picked the in-game tribute.
Yep.
Well, she got found this week, and I used that as the title. And I covered up the little text thing. But it's Kazoo instead of Kazgul. So they took a couple letters out, but it's still, you can tell. And her little Hogger costume.
It's epic.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
And it is, in fact, in Stormwind Stockades.
Which is extra funny because
that's where Hogger it got sent.
Right.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything except for that little bit. That's not really a spoiler. But you know where to look for it.
Kind of is it in game right? It's in game right now, right? It's
in the alpha. In the alpha.
It's in the alpha. Okay. So we have to wait.
All this stuff that we're talking about now is alpha stuff.
Dude, I'm going to get a selfie with my Worgen. Because she's working on a Worgen right now, dude. Like,
again?
I would say
a newer Gen?
What's that?
A new Gen?
I think so. Or maybe she's already done it and I'm just behind the times a little bit.
Yeah, she did one a couple years ago.
On the Hogger outfit, one of the big problems is obviously the feet, the legs. When you have dog type or that kind of animal type build, the joints bend backwards. The ankle is a distended ankle. It's much longer than humans. So where the dog ankle is like way back. So when you try to have a human cosplay, it doesn't work. Well, the way she built the Worgen boots, it wasn't going for like realism. It looked literally like the skin from World of Warcraft. It was phenomenal. So it was a really cool. It is the Gen, I think, or another Worgen that she's working on. So
yeah, last I heard, she was going to do an updated Gen because of the new cinematic. Whether or not that's this year or not, I didn't know, but there's that.
But it's go check it out. Well worth the look. Well worth your time.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Speaking of in-game skins, though, thank you for that, Gal.
Mm-hmm.
If you happen to have ever played a paladin, or specifically a blood elf paladin, because that's at least where I started on my paladin, there was a certain, I don't want to call it a class leader, but that's kind of what it was at the time until we took over because, Legion stuff, reasons. Lady Liadrin, who, if you play Hearthstone, you can have her instead of Uther. She got a skin update. Not only did she get the golden eyes on every model, and I think that's even, I'd have to go look, but that might even be in-game now.
I just looked, I don't know about the in-game now, but I just double-checked when you said that.
But I know come next expansion, all her models, even the old ones, will have the yellow eyes that are available.
So, light forged?
No, it's just the Blood Elves are allowed to do that because they're not using Fel Magic, they're using the Light Well.
Okay.
So that was an option. Like, my Blood Elves were all going to have yellow eyes because,
nice.
Canon,
Because reasons?
Because reasons. It's a transmog thing. But her armor that they gave her...
Sorry, I was just thinking of the segment of the Deadpool 2 trailer I saw today. Carry on.
Okay. I'll ask about it later, maybe. Her armor that they gave her for the updated version is her Hearthstone armor, almost identical. Not quite. There's a couple little things, but it's her Hearthstone armor. So I'm like, updated model with the expansion. Something's going to happen to or with Liadrin this expansion. And
there's a question next to me, so ignore me for a minute.
Yeah. So I just was looking at it like, yeah, something's going to happen with or to Liadrin this expansion coming up. And I don't know what it is. I'm guessing. But it seems like updated model, she's going to be kind of semi-ish, important-ish.
I do like it, and I do like the drew from Hearthstone for the fill-in piece, by the way. Let's see here. I see what's next.
Okay, so now we're just going to kind of mention stuff part. We're not going to go into any details except to say things. If you are in the alpha and you don't mind spoilers, things to check out.
I have not gotten an alpha invitation yet. Thanks for asking.
No, I wasn't going to ask. You'd have told us. I got the alpha.
I'm going to go look right now. It's not going to be there, but I'm going to go look.
Okay. So, mention with no spoilers. Lordaeron is a thing you can do. That battle, which we all know is coming. We get to plan it. It's updated. You can play it. Teldrassil, the tree that we're going to set on fire. Or Nomi's going to set on fire. Who knows?
That tree is on fire.
That stuff is at least partially in-game. And there's a fish lady named Ashara.
I see it.
Oh, you got it today?
I'm installing it.
You might want to wait just a few more minutes.
All right.
But yeah, Queen Ashara got not only a character model update, she got a voice update, stuff like that. If you don't mind spoilers, get in the alpha, go over to Wowhead, check these things out. If you do mind spoilers, ignore that entirely and just say, cool. Some other things. The global cooldown counter thingy. I've seen a lot of people complaining that more abilities are being put on that. Like, a lot of characters have these interrupts. Mage has their silence interrupt thing. Paladins have a couple interrupts. Most of them are not on the global cooldown. The next expansion, a lot of these abilities that previously weren't, like Bloodlust, and a lot of the warrior cooldowns are on global cooldown to prevent stacking. There's a lot of people complaining. First off, stop that. This is alpha. They're just testing things out. Numbers are not set yet. So even if it's on the cooldown now, it might not be later. And if it stays, there's probably a reason for it. And we don't have all the stuff ready to us yet, but it's early alpha still. We still have months. We still have almost 4 months before the game comes out. The expansion. Calm down. It'll be okay.
I'm impatient.
I know.
Something new, something different.
Yeah. Something new, something different. You have an orc or a dwarf?
I do.
You have both?
I do.
Would you like to play a brown orc instead? Or maybe even a gray orc?
Well, the question is, what do I have to crawl through to make my orc brown?
Honestly, we don't know.
I'm looking forward to it. I've heard good things about the alpha going live and stuff like that with the new classes becoming playable.
We have no idea if there even is you go do this to get these guys. There more than likely is, let's be honest. But Mag'har and Dark Iron are just turned on for the alpha. So if you're in the alpha and you want to try them out, cool. The Dark Iron are much kind of like the Void Elves in that they have special hair animations. Like the Void Elves have that little void feel in their hair.
Yes.
Dark Iron have kind of the Junkrat look with their hair.
Oh, gotcha.
With the tips possibly kind of a little sparkly on fire, which means that Dark Iron should not be allowed to be rogues, and yet they are.
Why?
Because if they're on fire, that's drawing attention to them. Rogues don't want that.
Maybe that's where the smoke comes from.
Get out of here with your attempted logic.
This is not a place for logic or reason.
Have you seen our shows before? Logic and reason have no place here.
We're like kryptonite for Vulcans.
Okay, I was going to go spoons for crayons, but sure. Anyway, just, I didn't want to spoil anything, but I thought some of these things were noteworthy enough to actually say something. And also, Galv, despite me picking on you, grats on your alpha.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll see if it works. Maybe I'm just
tomorrow
downloading it shadows later.
Yeah. So I got nothing else news related. So unless you got something, I think we can pretty much call that most of a show.
Just nothing for Blizzard news. Just miscellanea in other stuff.
Oh yeah. So let's do some shout outs. So Galv, outside of Blizzard themselves, who just gave you alpha.
Yeah.
Who do you want to give shout outs to this week?
All right. Well, one cool thing that happened just today is a member of our Hydro Volunteer Fire Department raid team, CJ Pete, was in town at the casino near me for a huge esports tournament featuring a lot of Blizzard things. He is not an active member. He's not an active player on his collegiate team, but he's the team manager and media guy. And his school had fully funded this trip cross-state to get out here for this esports tournament. And next year, as he's putting together the media package for it, they're going to start offering scholarships at that college for esports. So it was really cool. I got a sick kid at home, and I wasn't going to be able to make it out, although Never was out there for the same tournament for Hearthstone this weekend with his significant other. And they anyway, CJ noticed I wasn't going to be able to make it out there and stopped by and said hi to me today. So he visited me at my house, and I gave him a CTR 2017 party shirt because I had a couple extras laying around here. So now he's got the shirt. But I put a picture in the Hydro Volunteer Fire Department chat. Cool guy, super smart. Situational awareness that is commensurate for our raid team.
Sometimes.
I think it pretty much fits the mold.
That's what I mean. Sometimes.
Right.
For the most part, what was that mechanic that killed you? I don't know.
We have to look it up.
Yeah.
We have to look it up.
Some of us know, some of us don't. Some of us know sometimes.
Exactly. So shout out to him for doing the social thing. You're near a buddy. Stop by and visit. Say hi. I mean, connecting with other people is kind of the reason we do what we do, even though it's over the internet. So I thought that was pretty cool and worthy of a T-shirt. I happen to have an extra of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before I do my own shout out, how do people get a hold of you online?
All right. Well, you can catch me at least 4 nights a week on the twitch.tv/Galvanid. You can also catch me at Galvanid Online on Twitter on the tweet machine, and in different. Oh, there you went. You blinked out of existence there. You went. If you want to catch me on CTR, or if you ever see clips of other streamers playing miscellaneous games, I make highlight reels with them sometimes too for fun. But Galvin is where you'll catch me. How about you, Draven?
How about me?
Oh, wait. Shout out to Ben Brode. You did a really good job, buddy.
Thanks. Stole my shout out.
You can do a better job.
All right.
You can do a better job.
Yeah. In terms of shout outs, I will just give a shout out to the 4 people who were in my group earlier today. Got me some achievements. I'm just going to make it a weekly thing. Alessandro, you get a shout out because you take so many notes. It's kind of unreal. For everything. And as for getting a hold of me, at Draven Dresden over on Twitter. As long as you're polite and or civil and or any other word similar to those words. Kind.
Civil-tastic.
Yeah. Then, we can have a conversation, get a hold of me, whatever. I do have to say that the opening theme song for the show I found that over at bensound.com, and I'm allowed to use it because it's licensed under Creative Commons by the Attribution 3.0 license. I remembered.
Nicely done. Now you don't have to do it later.
No, I don't have to redo it again later, yeah. We have a Patreon for the show. If you are so inclined, you are able to monetarily support the show. It is not required. It is definitely appreciated and confusing. But
yeah,
I don't get it either. But if you decide you want to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/podcastepicfail. $1 a month is fantastic. Get a shout out. $5 a month, you get more stuff. It goes up and beyond that. Like I said before, it is not expected. It is not necessary, but it is always nice to see. Another thing that's nice to see is people heading over to the Discord. bit.ly/epicfail Discord. Just come on over, say hi, strike up a conversation. Do you have a topic you'd want to see covered on the show? Like on a slow news week when we get closer to the end of the expansion in here a couple weeks. News is start going to be, oh, did you see the alpha stuff? Crap, that's spoiler. Can't really do that all that often. So if you have a topic you want to see, throw it in there. We might not get to it right away, but, we'd put it on the list of things to talk about. And normally, Galv, I would ask you if you have any last words for the show. This week, I'm stealing them. They're mine.
Take it away.
All right. This is pre-prepared, so I am in fact reading the screen. Except that I'm not going to read it word for word because I'm looking at it and I don't like it.
Just do a good job.
Just do a good job. So, this is for a special last words for Ben Brode, who is leaving Blizzard. We're going to miss you, dude, but we do wish you the best in whatever it is you are doing here in the future. And now I have something specially prepared just for you.
Your tears won't fall, your tears won't
The hype for BlizzCon 2018 has begun, and so has our planning for this year's ConBeforeTheStorm.
ConBeforeTheStorm will bring together fans and content creators for all of Blizzard franchises once again at the Anaheim Hilton on November 1st.
This is the largest Blizzard community-built event, and it's made possible thanks to everyone who supports our Kickstarter campaign, which is now live at ConBeforeTheStorm.com.
Our initial funding goal is $13,500, and we're confident we can hit that goal with the community's help.
As always, we plan to include meet and greet opportunities with dozens of content creators, including artists, podcasters, Twitch streamers, esports personalities, and much more.
Returning fan favorites that are already confirmed for this year include badge artist Egg Dishes and Tepish, as well as the return of shirt and button designer Nadia Lee.
Finally, it wouldn't be ConBeforeTheStorm without World of Podcasts, which will be celebrating its 6th-year anniversary.
However, our plans for World of Podcast have grown, as have the costs to make it a reality, and we need your help to bring World of Podcast back for its best year yet.
Get ready for a great night of podcasting content should we hit our stretch goal of $24,500.
To learn more about our plans, stretch goals, and backer rewards, go to ConBeforeStorm.com and follow at ConBeforeStorm on Twitter for ongoing updates. See you at BlizzCon!